So, started out on Thursday. I headed up to Ryland in one of the home bases. Had a great wedding, great ass time, big crowd, fun, right? Drive home, everything's honky-dory. We load up a bunch of lights, a bunch of stuff. We had a big production event, wedding, up here at Mallard Island, right? So we did that. That was a great time. And then on the way home. Yeah. I hit a bump. Okay? Now, at the time of me hitting this bump, I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, it was a big bump, right? It was in between train tracks, you know what I mean? Like, or not in between, but like on one side of a train track. We were crossing a train track and there was a dip in the road, right? No sign, nothing. And I've taken this road before. I'm actually kind of aware of the dip, but I kind of, whatever. Anyway, I drive through it. I was going just a little, I was maybe 30, 40 miles an hour, and it was like a ba-boom kind of bump, right? And I'm like, oh shit. And I remember turning to Santi and saying, man, did our shit shift back there, right? In the trailer, right? Because we had a packed trailer too. We had like, uplight spots, CO2 gun. We had a bunch of shit back there, right? Furniture, everything. So we hit that heavy bump. But I kept it pushing, right? So I basically kept it pushing. We drove all the way back. And we had a little time. So I was like, well, before we, go home, let's stop and let's unload all the stuff we don't need for the next day. Because the next day we only had sound. And it was a house system, which we're going to talk about as well. So we didn't need as much stuff. We didn't need any of the lights, nothing. So we stopped at my storage or whatever, and then we unloaded all my shit. And when I brought, hint one, when I brought my trailer door down, right? I have a trailer door like a castle door, right? Like a roll-in, roll-out door. When I brought it down, it wasn't even on the pavement. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. I was just thinking, I was like, why is it not even on the pavement? Right? But I thought to myself, maybe it's just I'm parked crooked. I don't really care. Whatever. I'm going to keep it pushing. It's late. I DJ'd all night, right? Whatever. So then we unload some stuff. We get everything ready for the next day so we don't have to go to storage the next day. I go home. I go to bed. The next morning, I wake up. I'm getting my stuff together. I go to load the truck. And I see that my fender of my trailer is really close to my tire. Okay? It's like really close. So if you look up here, right, it doesn't look like there's a gap. There was a gap though, right? It was like this big, but there wasn't a lot of gap there, right? And I'm like, that's weird. That doesn't look right. But I'm so stupid that I literally shook the fender, right? Like I shook the fender and I was like, this fender's getting loose. This piece of shit is just hanging at this point. I'm like, I got to get this like reapplied or something. My fender's hanging, right? Didn't think anything else. Just thought the fender must be hanging, right? Called my trailer people and they weren't working. I was like, all right, whatever, screw it. So we're just going to keep it pushing, right? Then we're driving down the road, right? And we left for our travels. And now we're on our way to the shore, to the wave. And then I realized I was screwed. I stopped here and realized I was screwed. Went over to Jay and I's house, tried to secure a different trailer. Nobody had one in stock. So then I risked it for the biscuit, drove 40 minutes to the event because I was already halfway there, right? I was already halfway there when I realized that I was screwed. I'm going to show you why. Made it to the event, did the event, and then drove 40 miles an hour all the way home with the flashes on. Just nice and slow. Just had to make it home. And I was shitting a brick. I'm not going to lie. And I made it home. I was shitting a brick the entire time. Okay? I'm going to show you guys what happened here. Okay? So when I pulled over, so I'm halfway to, I'm 2 hours away, this wedding. It was at the Wave in Long Branch, right? Which is towards the shore. Where my vehicle, last stopped, right? About 2 hours away. I'm about an hour into the trip. I'm on a highway called 295. And I look back and my trailer has a gangster lean. Just straight. Just look. I'm like, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. And I look, I'm like, my tire's not flat. What is wrong, right? I pull over. I look underneath. and she gone. She gone. Now, if you don't notice it right away, okay, look. Do you see how the disconnection there? This is a stem leaf suspension, right? It's a 3-thing stem leaf suspension. And my suspension completely broke. Probably on that bump that one night, that bump, okay? Completely broke. So, literally, you know, it was resting. The frame of my trailer, like the frame, the whole box part, the actual cargo part of the trailer is resting right there on my axle. So as comparison, this is how it's supposed to look, right? You got a stem leaf. You see the gap in between here, right? You can kind of like see like how there's like a gap in between the, the axle and the frame, right? But then if you go back here, there's no gap. It's literally resting on there. Yeah. So it's bad news. And I'm thinking, oh my God, well, what if my axle breaks? That's gonna be bad. So, what I did is I didn't have I only had sound, so I took one of my subs out. I had two subs on this broken side. I took one of my subs out, right? Took one of the subs out, put it in the truck, took the other sub, put it on the other side of the trailer, and then all I essentially had on the one side was all the way up in the front of the trailer, and it was just like my 16-space rack, which probably weighs like, I don't know, 70 pounds, 60 pounds. Not terrible, right? So I had like no weight on that side, and I stopped. Jason J and I's house was close, so like I stopped there, dropped off the trailer, tried to rent something, couldn't rent, nothing was available. So I'm like, all right, I'm screwed. So like, I had enough equipment in my truck to do the wedding, okay? And all I had to do was just basically put my facade in there, and then I would just do the wedding behind the facade, no furniture, right? So my backup plan was, if my trailer blows up or whatever, if worst case scenario happens, I'm gonna leave Santi with my stuff while everything gets towed. Hopefully someone can come pick us up, like pick up my furniture, so I'm not leaving it there. I'm gonna go to the wedding, set up, make sure I'm all good, and then come back and deal with it, right? You know what I mean? But we drove real slow. We were real careful. We made it to the wedding. Thank God. Did the wedding. Everything was great. And then drove super slow on the way home. Something happened on the way home. I had all night, to figure it out. I didn't want anything to happen, but regardless, whatever. And we just drive really slow. And then, of course, the next day, secured one of these bad boys. And we kept it pushing because then we had a wedding on Sunday, right? So this was Saturday morning. I noticed, right? Did the wedding on Saturday, came back Saturday night with the bad trailer, and then man, I got an itchy nose. And then Sunday we had this wedding, so I had to rent this bad boy. They say saves you time, work, money. It would save me time and work if you had a drop down door though. It was annoying, like picking everything up. Anyway, we made it work. Now from this experience, okay. From this experience, I want to give you guys some tips, okay? One of the tips that I didn't do that would have prevented this sort of thing, and I wasn't aware, no one told me, I don't know if it's even a thing, but it's just something I'm going to do because I'm a preventative type person. I'm the type of guy that I replace my XLR wires once a year, not because they break, just because I don't want one to go out. I don't want to deal with the bullshit, right? I preemptively replace shit just so it doesn't die. I don't wait for something to die to replace it, right? Like I'm just like one of those people, right? And my trailer is something I didn't account for, but I'm going to give you guys some tips now. So here's some trailer tips for you, okay? Number one, if you have a trailer, check your trailer before you leave every time. My trailer was broken at my crib. I didn't notice. I saw that the fender was down. I was like, oh, the fender's loose. Check the whole thing. Don't be stupid like me, okay? Because if I would have noticed, my local U-Haul actually had a trailer available. Like, that's where I got the trailer the next day. I could have got a trailer that day and not have risked anything for the biscuit and been fine. It would have saved a lot of stress, right? I didn't notice this until I was an hour down the road and I had to make it work, right? So check your trailer. Check your brake lights. Check your all your little turn signal lights. Check the axle. Make sure everything's good. Make sure everything's straight. Make sure nothing's breaking or whatever. Make sure you're all good, okay? Just check your trailer before every trip, just in case, especially if you notice something off, okay? Number 2, service your trailer every 6 months. I do this. I've always done this, okay? It didn't prevent this from happening to me, but regardless, you definitely want to service your trailer every 6 months because what it's going to do, it's going to prevent a lot of other stuff. Like, for example, last time I serviced my trailer was like 2 months ago, and they're like, hey, listen, your tires are just starting to dry rot. Start replacing them right away. Don't want the bullshit, right? Things like that. So make sure you service it every 6 months. Don't sleep on that. It's easy to kind of forget about your trailer because it just tows behind you. And the last thing is replace your stem leaves after after, 100,000 miles. Replaced them after 100,000 miles. Now, I did the math after this whole debacle with me, right? I did the math, and I put around 130,000 miles on this trailer since I bought it. And I bought it used, but it was only like a year old when I bought it. And he probably put like 15, 20K on it maybe, you know? So this trailer altogether had about 150,000 miles on it. And to me now, since this happened to me and it was such a big scare, I'm literally going to make it a point for every trailer ever that after 100K, I'm going to calculate around, has it been about 100K, I'm going to replace both stem leaves. I'm getting them replaced now. They're less than $200 for my guy. It's like $180 to replace both. It's not that much money, right? And I'm freaked out now because this trailer is like getting older, I guess. It's a 2016, but whatever. So I ordered a whole new trailer too. I might say I'm wilding out, but whatever. I put the deposit down. It's not going to come in for 3 months because of supply chain issues, because the whole world is all fucked up with that, I guess. But like, I ordered a new trailer. I'm going to go brand new, have it, get everything I wanted, all custom. It's going to be sick. Wait till you see it. But like, I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to make it work with this trailer for the next 3 months until that one comes in, because screw that. But like, regardless, if I would have done that, then I wouldn't have had this issue. This is like the stem leaf suspension can break on big bumps and everything, and like, that's the one thing where, if you tow a trailer, you could be screwed. You could be really screwed. It ain't a fun thing. You know what I mean? That's a whole pickle to be in. It's tough to kind of back that sort of thing up. So those are my trailer tips. That was a big scare I had, people. Scary shit. Scary shit. I was shitting a brick, but we did it. We made it. We made it happen. And yeah, so learn from my mistakes with that.